Hey everybody, this is Joanna from the Early Morning Ascension Show, or early wherever you are. It can always be early, and a new beginning and a new way that you can create your own new dawning of a new version of you, a new vibrational version of you. And just know that you have in any moment that you're harmonizing with who you are as the being of all that you are, all soul aspects, all bodies, all forms, all shadowy energy, all energy in your moment, all inner child sacredness, that you have the new opportunity to bring yourself forward anew. And you have your individual, unique, genuine, authentic self to be rebirthed and to be brought forward anew and to harmonize all of the wisdoms from everything that you've ever learned and everything that you've ever experienced, because you are a part of your reality and you're becoming more and more of it. That's what oneness really means, is that everything in your collective is now becoming more a part of you. And why you feel so emotionally rich sometimes when you're going through your own ascension experience, because you're becoming more awakened in who the soul of all that you are, and why it feels so good to be a part of your community in a more emotional manner, because that means you care. We are emotional beings, and how we vibrate emotionally really matters, because that's how we create a reality. That's why much of our imbalances in our society for many, many eons has been because of the suppressed and imbalanced emotional body. When that emotional body is in balance and in harmony with the higher mind and the mental body, then we begin to be harmonized through the heart and the mind, and allowing who we are to be expressed as the full spirit that we are. That creative spirit exploration is how we maintain balance. And balance is so very key, because we really know what it feels like not to be balanced. We've all had those days where you're just itchy and grouchy and scratchy. And it doesn't feel very good, because those are the energies that you then end up calling into you and saying, what the crap? Kind of itchy and scratchy. Didn't feel good. But that's how we get to know, right? When you're experiencing a whole lot of, ooh, you get to know that, okay, not going to do that again. But that's also a part of who you're becoming. And it's also part of what we're calling in our creative reality, because we want to be able to create loving and healing timelines. We want to be able to create loving and healing experiences. We want to be able to take whatever is in our creative reality and say, okay, this is what we've done. Now what? You know, we got to own it. We got to face it. Now we got to say, how can we just infuse light with it? How could everybody be a part of the resolution? How could everybody be a part of this creative new reality that is unfolding? There's not going to be a 3D reality, and then there's not going to be a 4D and then a 5D reality. It's harmonizing as all 5D. 5D light is being bathed on all of it. So any system that you are experiencing, whether it be a friend circle or a challenge in your own personal life, anything that is inner will be experienced and expressed and seen in your outer reality. And what we're finding more and more is that in all circles of our experience, socioeconomically, in the old terms and old versions and old vibrations, socioeconomic systems are now finding that what was always offered as kind of a human experience staple is no longer acceptable anymore, because so many people are awakening to the consciousness. Consciousness is just our awareness of who we are as spirit, who we are as all that is. Your consciousness of your potential. Consciousness of potential can be taken in any experience that you so desire. My consciousness potential of my health is you have absolute authority over your health and wellness. Your consciousness potential of your intelligence. You have ultimate consciousness potentiality over your intelligence. And so on and so forth. It can be taken in anything that you so desire. That is called, again, the divine relationship. How and who you are as spirit, becoming and creating matter. And so in this understanding, you're allowing yourself to become all that is consciousness, which is all that is. The threading of our hearts as oneness knows that we're allowing ourselves to become more connected at a heart level to all of our creative and socio reality. We are our family, and our family extends far beyond the ones in our home. And this is why many of our families and our circles will be changing, because as we awaken, we end up sussing out what doesn't fit. We end up sussing out what doesn't feel good. We end up sussing out what was not of integrity. We end up sussing out what is not needed, because it just takes up space as far as, you know, the things that we used to hang on to and never let go of. But we just find it that it's just clutter and energetic, what are they called? Energetic little fluff balls that just take up space and don't serve. And this is why many ancient tribes and cultures, they really took great ceremony over cleansing the house and the sacred space during certain seasons, to get rid of those energies that were just cluttering up the energetic flow of the family and the energetic space that we all live in. And so part of our offering today was that anything that you're moving and experiencing, you can see it and perceive it as a grand excitement and a grand journey. I'm clearing and just saying that. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit. I had a wonderful client experience this morning, and she was so beautiful, and she's probably watching this video, and she had a beautiful activation. So I wanted to thank you. This is a beautiful, blessed soul that the councils brought us together. Thank you. And why that interaction on a social level is so important, because we heal ourselves and we heal our deepest wounds through one another. And it's our sharing of one another, and it's our sharing of our intimate stories, and it's our sharing of our wounds, and it's the sharing of how to bring one another into those wounds for one another to help in the healing of it. And it's also free will. If someone chooses not to be a part of that, that's okay too. And so just allow your comfort level to be offered in that way. And how our empathy and our compassion, thank you, Spirit, for all of our compassion for all of those in India that are facing the experiences that they're facing, and they're having to create that as a part of their collective story. And so the virus is a part of our grander collective story, but many places throughout the world, depending on their socioeconomic standing, which is unfortunate, and why these are some of the things we're going to be start sussing out and healing. Each and every one of our unique individual soul's ascension path has triggers and has experiences in our everyday life that helps thread us to the collective need. So anything that you're experiencing in your individual social life is directly related to the themes that you've come to be a part of, helping thread new light into the collective. And so why many of us come forward in that, what did you realize and what did you reflect upon, and what did you create as a summation as a soul? What was really heartfelt for you in that whole experience of the virus? What did it show you? What did it allow it to reflect to you? What did it allow you to see your fears? What did it allow you to transcend those fears? What did it allow you to see the consciousness of your health and wellness? What did it allow you to see the value of those in your loved one's circle? What did it allow you to see, well, maybe there's experiences in my circle that I need to really release and let go of, because the vibration is simply an experience of pain, an experience of of energy that just needs to be, recycled and made anew. And we tend to hang on to things, materially and vibrationally and emotionally, and all the things that we do, because the stories that we hang on to and the beliefs that are not us anymore. So again, when you're going through your path of ascension in any day, know that you're going to be connected more and more with how you feel with the collective. So if the collective is going through something quite traumatic like India, many of us that are empaths and many of us that have been really connected with Gaia, are feeling those energies. And it takes those empaths that are connected all around the world to ever keep the vibration amplified, so that anytime there are big global burps of energy being cleared from the collective chakras and the root chakras, that we're able to transmute the energy and to transcend the energy, because energy never ever goes anywhere. We are transmuting it. We are transmuting it. When we say, or anything in the New Age community that says, let go of what doesn't serve you, it never ever goes anywhere. It's your energy, and you have to transmute it by alchemizing it. You can say it goes somewhere, but you have to alchemize it by taking accountability for what your part was in it. Did you have the lessons that you were meant to have from it? Otherwise, your soul will carry that vibration still in your field, and you'll call it back in. You have to be aware of the lessons that you're learning through all of the challenges. That's ascension. That's how you become, wow, I know how to alchemize. I know how that feels. I know how to now move into a different experience of that same energy or same person or same work experience comes to me. I now know how to stand in it in a new vibration, because I'm now standing in the vibration of who I am as spirit, and I get to speak the higher truth. I get to speak from the truth of spirit, because spirit is a higher truth than the lower mind ego. Because that spirit will align you with the higher truth of all that you are now. Because anytime that you release anything, all that you are is a biochemistry of spirit and matter. Everything gets reorganized and you get activated, depending on the time period, I guess, because sometimes some activations take 2 to 3 days and sometimes even longer. And so if you're allowing opening to all of the higher wisdom that you have, you will have infinite potentiation to make that experience something different and better. That's why we said, each and every one of you come with individual themes that are directly related to the grander theme, and how each and every one of us are here to infuse light of who we are becoming into these new systems. That will be 5-dimensional light in all things, so that all pockets of dimensional reality, because remember, there's an infinite number. There's infinite number. I just had my class this morning, so all my papers. Hold on. Thank you, Spirit. So all of the realities and all the aspects that you are now being harmonized because you're open and accepting of all that you are, Spirit. You're not clamping down on not being something. You're not clamping down on your lack of creativity. You're not clamping down on your ability to be source. You're not clamping down on the lack of and the limitations that you were told. You're allowing the vessel of all that you are to be open and flowing as spirit. And as so, you get to call in those higher vibrational codes and gifts and skills that are connected with those aspects of you. And so why that daily self-care is so important. Take 15 to 20 minutes a day, just like, brushing your teeth and getting ready. Just have that communion with your teams. What is coming forward for me today to work on? And challenge yourself. Ask your teams, I want to speak from my heart today. I'm going to challenge myself to speak from my heart as often as possible. I'm going to do little check marks throughout the day. And then I want my team's feedback when I go to bed at night. And then you give yourself that time to reflect and say, wow, I did that really well. And you give yourself praise. My teams are often telling me, like, look how far you've come. Because we rarely do as a species. We just sit there, wow, we've really done well. Not well as, wow, I made 100,000 yesterday. Because, I suppose that could be a great thing that you want to have as a goal. But what matters in fulfillment is your spiritual growth. That's why you come back. You want to be able to hand off your experience with your children and with your children's children and so on and so forth as karma clear as possible. You don't want them picking up on your karma, because we didn't learn the lesson. You want to move through life as a conscious creator. You want to be aware that, yeah, I know that my experience is connected with everybody on the planet. So how can I be more empathetic? How can I be compassionate of those really suffering? And how can I be a vibrational healer and leader on all timelines that are being offered that I'm a part of? And so they were saying, shifting the power back to any experience that because what the ego and the psyche wounds do is when anything unfolds and happens, that psyche wound connects with that packet of density and experience that is the pain. And that's when that psyche fight or flight come in and you shut down, your chakra shut down and your wisdom's shut down. And that's when you do not have the full access of spirit, is when you clench and you clamp under fear and control. And those are the most key vibrations of most sickness and illness. And so shift the power in saying that when there's something going on that I feel the vibrations and the triggers, just feel it as an open vessel of love and light, an open, beautiful epicenter of light that it just flows through, and allow the emotion to flow through. I'm not going to clamp down. I'm going to allow that fear. I'm going to allow that trigger. And what happened 100 times before, it doesn't have to happen now. Because I choose to shift who I am within so that this experience can change itself. Because as you shift who you are within through the experience of that emotion, you then give it its new opportunity to be vast and infinite. And that's really hard to do. It takes practice because you have to stop yourself in the moment of something occurring that might be, triggering. And you can do it. It's just consciously coming to your center and saying, I choose to stop time, as you can. You can expand time and you can contract. Through breath. Getting triggered right now, I'm getting triggered. But I'm going to be an open vessel of light and I'm going to allow that to run right through me. And now I'm going to choose to be this presence of love and compassion and acceptance. I'm not going to take on the energy. I'm going to transmute it through the vessel of unconditional love that I am. And I get to choose how I respond to it now. I'm not going to react. I'm not going to flip off. I'm not going to fly off the handle. Where the old cartoons when they used to get really mad and the little red head would come off and the steam would come out of the top of the head. We all know what that feels like. And you stop time. No, I'm not going to flip off. 1, 2, 3. How many times in a day can you not say the F word? And you ground, and you ground, and you ground some more, depending on how much you're being triggered. And you just allow that anger and emotion to come forward and admit it and call it. Yes, I'm angry at that statement. I'm just going to allow it through me because now I choose to be an open temple of love. I don't have to take it on to affect me. It was just somebody else's comment. If they want to direct it, that's okay, but I don't have to accept it into my field as a part of me and who I am becoming. because I know that's not who I am. I love myself. I honor myself. And then you start working yourself into a state of self-love. And then you start, and then after you just keep saying all these loving things, wow, I just let that move right off me. I'm doing really great. Look at him, look at me. I'm staying in my power. I'm an essence of oneness, and I'm doing my best to structure and reorganize myself as love and light. And I'm coming into balance and harmony of who I am. And then when you stop, you can't even remember what that was that triggered you. And so you're letting those little moments go. And that's how you keep realigning yourself moment for moment to new dimensional experiences and timelines. There's an infinite things going on right now, you know, and it's about our willingness to just drop and be vulnerable and take accountability and say, how can this all be sussed out so that everyone has a part? Not one person taking ownership to clear and cleanse things, not one person taking ownership to fix things. It's everybody playing a part. Because that's how everybody grows as a soul. One person can't carry the whole collective. It's got to be everyone stepping in and saying, wow, I never knew I had these gifts. I actually do have great gifts. I'm a great mediator. Or wow, I didn't know I had those gifts. I'm coming forward and I know how to put things together. I'm just one of those people that just knows how to put things together. And all of our systems need this. All of our systems, believe it or not, dear lighter ones. And each and every one of you have these beautiful gifts of being this higher vibrational commander and all of the words and terms that we don't even have yet. But we're actually becoming alive in this because we're seeing our everyday problems and challenges needing to be resolved in different ways because we're a family of one. We care. We must care. Because everything will keep coming back. Those challenges, make no mistake about it. Those challenges and those daily troubles and those daily triggers will continue to come back until you suss out your oneness. They just will. They just will. They're not going to go away. That you can continue to live in ignorance of those challenges and things, saying, well, that's you know, it's like the mail that just collects in the mailbox. It's not going to go away. You actually have to pick it up and sort through it. You have to sort through the mail that you've called forward. So whatever you're putting out there as a vibration, that's your mail, and it's going to come back. Return to sender, right? It's going to return to sender. You're going to suss it out. No, that's not mine. It's not mine. Oh, I'm perfect. No, it's not mine. Okay, well, you've got 5 boxes of return to sender mail. You're going to go through it. You know, that's what we're living in now. So it's just, you know, take ownership of it. Why push it off? Because then it's just going to accumulate and accumulate and accumulate. And that's when it becomes illness. Because you're not sussing out that vibrational story through which that belief is connected with. That's how you stay stuck and stagnant. And that's okay too. It's all a perfect experience of source. But just know that that's how realities are created. That's how illness and sickness and imbalance and all of the things that we experience. So now we've got to sort it out in a higher vibrational manner because we are. So let's start owning it. So they were saying, own those aspects where you can all come together and not necessarily label one another where each other is in their own ascension timeline and their own ascension experience, and just have all beings lifted and healing to take place on all different vibrational threads and timelines. Because many of us will be traveling and jumping timelines here and there and shape-shifting, where we can go into an infinite number of timelines and be the best of the highest and the best for all people. And many of us have been training for many years how to shift vibrationally, dimensionally, back and forth. And when we awaken to those gifts to bilocate, we can do that. So release the idea of the judgment of where anyone is at in their path, and how, remember, we talk about every soul has its own unique temperament, its own unique pacing, and its own unique speed. And so just allow that to be okay. There will be those that are code breakers and want to be on the front line in the leadership. And that's why we offer the Divine Feminine, Moon Wisdom, and Healing and Leadership classes. For those that really want to be out there adding to the Divine Feminine, rewriting of our Divine Feminine intelligence and our leadership. Thank you. I'm clearing just to say that. Thank you. See, it's obviously healing is required within the collective for Divine Feminine. We're bringing back those nurturing. We're bringing back the ideas of that we can be healers and intelligent beings that bring great capacity of new ways to co-create communities of light and communities of healing, communities of co-creating, communities of abundance, and great standards of living. You know, we're here for we're here for the premonitions we've all had in sacred timelines. You know, our ancient sacred tribes and our sacred ancestry, they're here supporting us. And that's why we get those inspirations. And we get those, you know, they're just reminding me the clients that are threaded to us to activate us and to activate us into timeline experiences and remembrances to help push each and every person through those quantum activations into something different. Why do you think the children come to us in the way that they do? Every child that is born into a family, no different than why we were born into our parents' family. You were born into your parents' family to activate them into greater light and greater knowing. We normally get so entrained, though, and conformed that very few tend to break out of those ancestral and lineage limitations until you actually go through awakening and say, those stories are not my stories. They were given to me through dogma or through my family, but I don't choose to take on them anymore. But the children come to us with these great capacities of higher intelligence. They don't even have the DNAs that we were brought up in. And yet the systems that they're continuing to be conformed within are of such, confinement. And so how is that serving? Is it serving? Can we do better? Can we reach higher? Can we expand, and can we enhance, and can we enrich through the higher vibrational understanding of who we are as beings of light, creating through matter? Various kinds of matter, because our matter will matter when we're vibrationally aligned. Whatever your matter is creating is how the vibrational alignment that you see and you reflect to you. So again, your matter matters because your matter is your vibration. And so our vibrational systems and our vibration socioeconomic governance of oneness, how can we infuse it with the oneness of who we are? Compassionate, loving beings of Christhood, that we're matching vibrational timelines that, again, when we say Christhood, it's not relating to any one religion. It's not at all. It's who we are as Christic light, the codes of light, the codes of sacred geometry, the codes of the Metatron. We are sacred geometry, and we are awakening to it now. We are the harmonic song, and we are the harmonic presentation of Source. Each of us expressing that, and each of us coming forward in that, each of us expressing that inner child of who we are as we're releasing and healing all these moments of awkwardness. We get to own all those parts of us, and we get to be okay. Say, yeah, that shadow part is going to be a part of my story. I can't not put that shadow part in. You can't exclude that shadow experience. Got to call it in. That's how you alchemize it. Saying you let it go is fine, but you got to alchemize the experience. You can't just forget about it and pretend it's not there. It's just like the mail piling up. That return to center is going to keep coming back. And then you got to call that shadow part in and say, okay, I chose this as at a shadow experience. What was that showing me? Well, I was showing myself lack. Maybe I didn't, speak my truth. Maybe I didn't allow someone's greatness to be unfolded. Maybe I held on to something too long. Maybe I didn't give myself the love that I needed when I did something really, really great. And so just reflect on those shadow parts and call it in. And that's how it won't come returning back to you. Because you're owning it, you're honoring it, and that becomes your light. Again, you're calling that density come in, and you're healing it through your love and acceptance and compassion of who you are, and your forgiveness. And that creates greater light. Then you have the capacity to call in the wisdoms and the light and other gifts and skills held within that light, because light is infinite. Light is the ever renewal experience. Life is the light experience of Source. It is a continual and eternal song that is breath. That is each person's salvation. Not any one person can say what any one person's salvation is, for it's the alchemy of one's own heart. It is the healing of thy own name, healing of thine self. Because you got to alchemize it through your own self-love. That is your salvation. Can only be through self-love, dear ones. Can only be. So calling in anything that you have judgment on, call it in and love it. Throat chakra, because it's yours. The ones you have challenges with most, allow their stories to unfold. Part of the master's path is that you want so much to help people, and you want so much that you tend to overgive, and you exhaust yourself in giving in infinite number of ways that a master can give. Doing light work at night, and infinite blogging, and infinite texting, and then doing more light work at night, and prayers, and all the things that we do as light workers 24/7. And the light workers that I know, that's how we are. It's constant 24/7 caring and giving. And the teams are just saying you need to pull back, and you need to be more caring and giving of you, because it might not be on that person's soul to want to accept what you're giving them. It doesn't stop you from sending good light, but just be aware of how much you give and how you give and to whom you give, because it might not be a part of their path. And you got to allow your teams to say, enough is enough, pull back. And send those light, even if they feel and you feel the experience that is not deserving, because everything is deserving of Source's light. And this is what we were saying about our experience about the virus and about where tragedies hit and why. It's not for any one person to say, regardless of how you're being treated, regardless of what is going on the outside, regardless of how anyone thinks looks. It's Source. So be compassionate and honoring of it, but don't break your back and don't exhaust yourself, because there are those that just have a different soul path and a different soul experience. And it's up to them, each person, to suss out where they're available for their own awakening. They've got to go in with it. You got to ask for it. They got to want to be that soul essence of self-love, because that's how you alchemize all your injuries and all your wounds. It's through self-love. You got to accept all of it. Otherwise, you're just going to keep manifesting things till you say, I guess that's me. Can't get away from it. That return to center's got your name on it. And so again, when you experience everything in your life and you're becoming your oneness with your reality, it's all about your intention, and the purity of your intention means so much. So as you're moving through your day, you know, just reset yourself and just realign yourself and just say, today I'm going to absolutely, in the next conversation I have is going to have the purity of intention that I speak with grace, and I speak with light, and I speak with my passion to be me. And I'm going to clear my throat chakra because I'm speaking the passion of my spirit, because you're allowing all of your chakras to be in alignment through your voice. And that's how you always allow your throat chakra to be cleared, because you're not suppressing your voice is not important. You're not suppressing your gifts and your beautiful gifts that come forward. You know, so many of us have so many beautiful gifts, but because it was so awkward and not necessarily, you know, normal, you know, to come forward with the intuitive gifts and the psychic gifts and the empathic gifts and the higher vibrational sensitive gifts that we have, you know, for eons, and for many timelines, and for even people now, when you talk about energy, some are just turned off and they're not aware. And that's okay, but it doesn't have to affect you, and you don't have to internalize that lack of acceptance, because your acceptance comes from you. And every one of our children move through that, because many of the children now are so high vibrational. They're hybrid children, they're crystalline children, they're rainbow children, they're indigo children, whatever terms and words we want to use, it does not matter. We prefer not to use any terms at all, because their DNA will explain and express who they are. And it's up to our allowance of them in their genius of light to be that expressive being of who they are without any conformity at all. And allow that sacred respect of that soul to express itself and learn and explore and express in the way that it's meant to. That's how it becomes its fullest. That's how it becomes well in and of itself. That's how it says, yes, this is who I am, and I own it and I claim it. Not walking around fearful about what it feels and what it thinks it feels and what it's being told, because it internalizes everything. And it takes on 50% more energy and information than anyone standing beside them that is not aware yet or awake yet to their essence of who they are as spirit, because their heart chakras are closed. They've never been told that they are energy. They've never been told that they have a mental body and an emotional body. They've never been told that they're responsible for their happiness and their reality. So now that we're all awakening to multidimensional energy and multidimensional capacities of who we are as potentiation of light and love, how can we then start infusing? Well, wow, we've got some ideas. How can we all work together? Because everybody on all timelines are all getting the fifth dimensional light and even higher. And how can we all work together, regardless of where they're at, to help everybody out along the way? And just be one of those, you know, the wave riders. Just going back and forth and just infusing light and infusing empowerment, and really encourage everybody. It's okay. You're going to be exactly where you're meant to be. Source has got you. You just keep empowering and inspiring without the need or without the will to try and make people come with you or to thread them in a different way that you want them. No, because their soul's journey is their soul's journey. You can't make another soul be on a journey in a wave that you want them on, because that's ego. That's fear. What if they go away? What if they're on a different thread than me? What if they're this? What if that? So let it, allow it. The law of allowance is how you allow nothing to get stuck. Allowing it, honoring it, and knowing there's a higher vibrational reason. Ego won't know it. Your spiritual self will know that everybody will be where they're meant to be. Everybody will call in what they're meant to call in to experience and explore and express who they are spirit. Everyone will allow themselves to be faced with what it is they need to face with, so that they go within and say, okay, how can I be a part of this healing? How can I be a part of this collective correction? How can I be a hard part of this rebalancing? And each and every one of us have that potentiality that we're meant to be a part of. And again, give yourself permission to be okay and ask for fulfillment. You know, fulfillment for your multidimensional bodies when you're doing your daily self-care and you're aligning yourself with your purpose. You're aligning yourself with your spiritual knowing and your spiritual destiny. All right, Source, today I'm going to step into my destiny. Clearing. Because every day your destiny is going to be different. right? Your destinies might be something here one day, and Source will take you there another day, and Source will take you out there another day. Try not to lock your destiny into any one thing, because Source will want you in all places at all times. Because remember, we're going to be riding the wave of different vibrational threads, and your bodies are being prepared, your minds are being prepared, you're being more relaxed to just shift into whatever navigational energy is coming to you so that you can ride that wave. That's what masters do. Masters aren't just on one vibration and they stay there. No, masters go back and forth so they can make sure that they are being a part of the human psyche experience of healing in all threads. That's mastery. Why do you think masters spent most of their time, and most masters back in ancient days when they wrote about the sacred journey, where they went walking by themselves just with spirit? Because they had to go through that journey, that process of adventure, so that they could trust themselves. They could trust the direction of spirit. They could trust the direction of where they were going through that self-fulfillment. I absolutely trust I'm going to leave it all behind, and this is who I am with Source. So allow those spiritual journeys to test you to ever greater potentiations, because that spiritual master adds to the collective whole. His reaching out and her reaching out adds to the collective vibration. So if you're never fulfilling your dream or acting upon your dream, nobody in your circle can ever open and offer in their dreams and their light. You activate them because you're getting consciousness and light and codes in your moving forward and trusting of spirit. And every activation that you have on that choice, when you're taking that leap of faith, you activate everybody in the collective, the trees, the wildlife, the oceans, the water. You activate it all. That's why it's really, really important to allow everybody's unique path, because those children will show us. So if we're stifling our children, how are we stifling our evolution of our species? Absolutely we are. So how can we see everything as high vibrational experiences and then start from there? Why not start at the highest? Why would we start at confined systems of conformity for children that don't even understand any of it and have trouble and feeling like they're internalizing all because they're not worthy of whatever these confined systems are? And then you have to explain to them over and over, those systems are not able to teach you how you're able to understand information and wisdom, because you can sense it, you can feel it, you can intuit it. It's already in your DNA. So how can we just explore it? How can you awaken it? How can you activate that DNA? You're not going to get it from a book. You can get some of it from a book and then offer it in other modalities that experience and really activate that inner child. Keep the inner child as long as possible. That's how you evolutionize a species, is it not? Do you evolutionize a species by sitting in a same cycle of routine? Is routine evolutionary? So we just have to look and perceive ourselves and reactivate it into something really great. The routines are great for a day, and then step out of it. Pull back on your routine, moment by moment, hour for hour, and do something different. Create new, create new, create new. Your cells are waiting for you to wake up. Your cells are waiting to hear from you. Your cells are waiting for you to take a different route. Your cells are waiting for you to call in light. Your cells are waiting for you to sing in joy. Your fields are waiting for you to dance with Gaia. You activate and recalibrate your field with Gaia. And you can call in the shamans, you can call in the healers, and you call in the fairies, and you call in the pixies, and you call in all of the healing angels to help you reactivate your fields biochemically. And I've been getting more and more of that in my private sessions. More of the Gaia consciousness that's being upgraded and amplified is also amplifying the fields that we work within. But if we're never entangling and asking for it, remember, when you activate through purity of intention, you activate the convergence of the universe to work with you and around you and through you. If we're walking in unawareness, that's that consciousness shutdown where we just keep rocking through autopilot, manifesting the same stories vibrationally. No, we're alive with spirit now. We are alive with consciousness. We are alive with the majesty that is source. I'm going to call it in because I can. How can we call in greater systems of educational exploration and expression and creative ingenuity for the children, for all beings? Why be stuck in conformity and routine? We don't have to. It's a choice. It can be the means to the end, but it doesn't have to be, because we are creative geniuses in every way. So let's call in the light. Ground, ground, ground. And you have every right to ask all energies that are not divine and sacred, and all energies that are pulling on your field, and all energies that are feeling negative and heavy and negative thought forms. And you can have every right in your bodies, and offer this to the children, because oftentimes they don't know they have the right because they're often told they don't have any rights. Their voices are not valid and important. Teach the children how to clear their fields every night as they're in the shower and they're just washing, being bathed with the crystalline light of the Christ. Have them talk to their fields in their bodies to put up shields around those that are feeling negative and cranky and scratchy and itchy, so that they're not taking on those energies and those projections of thought forms that are being sent into their quantum field and their bodies. They have the right to say, no, I choose not to take on negative energy. I choose not to take on negative thought forms. I choose not to take on any negative entities or consciousness that is in this house and space. I choose to release them now because I can. We're never told those things. We're never told that everything in creation will have a vibrational experience. And you have every right to say, I don't like the feeling of that experience. That's not what I want to entangle with right now, but I honor you as spirit, and out you go. Because when your subtle bodies turn on and your intuitive sensing turn on, you're going to feel everything that's already there. That just made you feel so heavy and lethargic. Those lethargic energies is because there's energies in your field and in your bodies that don't necessarily belong and don't need to be there. And then, of course, those children that are empathic and intuitive, they oftentimes feel negative thought forms and negative energies that are very suppressive and depressive, and even, activating for their lack of self and their lack of self-care, because they're being projected in very negative and harmful ways through an infinite number of programs. The 5D, internet, gaming, all of those things. So again, everything is vibration, everything is energy. How are we taking ownership and responsibility for our health and our wellness? Are we clearing and cleansing our fields every day? Anything that comes up, just let it go. It's a part of source. I can choose to transmute this, and I do. I choose to transmute this. I choose not to take this on in my body or in my thought forms. And I have this release to Source Creator who can transmute it and alchemize it. And it's been a part of my body. Maybe there's something in my field I'm not aware of, so I'm going to release this. And I choose not to take on anything that is not magnificent, because I get to set my consciousness vibration. I get to set my template. I get to set my field. I get to set my temple of who I am, because I have that right. My consciousness creates my reality. Make no mistake about it, and read the infinite number of books that are out there on that. Consciousness is all. You get to choose. Heart vibration, all that you are as a multidimensional being, all chakras, all fields, the electromagnetic energy of who you are with the planet, with the moon, with the sun, all planets. You are a being of fascinating light, fascinating potential. Start there. Start at fascinating. Start at remarkable. Start there, and give the power back to the children to say, you can choose to own that and clear it and clean it, or not. You have that right. It's your body. It's your field. You don't have to own negativity. You don't have to own it. So release it. First thing we should be doing when the children become aware and alive enough, is to know that they're infinite beings of light. They don't have to take on anything that feels uncomfortable for them. Own the ability to feel what's good and what doesn't feel good. If it doesn't feel good, speak up and say no. If it doesn't feel good, speak up and say no. If it doesn't feel good, speak up and say no. If it doesn't feel good, speak up and talk about it. If it doesn't feel good, speak up and say why. Have the expression to say, it's okay for me to speak my voice and my truth. It's not okay that's being done to my body. It's not okay that's being coming in my field and I don't understand it. It's okay, talk about it. Let's talk about it. What do you feel? Then you give that idea and that owner is back to everybody else in the circle. Well, how do I feel? Well, I really had something come up this morning in my dream, and I didn't process it, and I didn't heal it, and I guess it's still with me. Just let me do some clearing on that. I'll go journal it. We have to take ownership and responsibility of how we each carry our energy and our experiences, because it affects everybody. Just as if India going through their tremendous experience, at a collective level, how are they processing the emotional and the mental and the energetic trauma of some of the collective pictures that are going on there, and they're facing it, reality. Like that's in their reality. We have to be compassionate and start sending our light and being in love and compassion of that. Because that lets us know that we're all multidimensional beings of love and oneness. And if we all take that right and ownership of who we are and how we walk and how we vibrate, that helps out everybody in our circles and in our environments. And then we are really clear, and we're a vessel of light, and we're a vessel of clear communication with spirit. There's nothing blocking us. There's no ego energies or ego, what are they called? Ego shields that say, of judgment. No, I want to be a clear vessel, and I'm you know, I'm just willing to be a part of the healing, and I'm willing to offer it in whatever way I can, and I'm comfortable. And then that's again part of mastery, knowing what to invest in, what not to invest in, how to invest, and when to pull back when your team say there's nothing you can do. It's just a matter of holding space. You know, so that's a part of mastery, and everybody's learning on who they are as light, who they are as vibrational energy, who they are as their vibrational co-creators of manifestations, of abundance, of wellness, of health. It's ours. It's our right to own that. And it's our right to say, okay, negative energies, out you go, and just do a clearing of your house. Once a day, send light to your house, open up the windows, do some sage, and just intend. My purity of intention is for this space to be sacred. My purity of intention is for this space to be mine and sacred. And in this space, I will create healing and oneness with spirit. Because my intention is to be a part of positive impact on this planet. Whatever timeline I'm transitioning, whatever timeline I'm going to help out, whatever people and whatever programs I'm going to help out, I intend to make positive impact just by my light. And for no other reason, because that's just why I came. I'm just so happy to help. And whatever is the result of any of it, I'm just so happy to be a part of positive co-creation for humanity, because we have such far greater and far more enhanced potentiality than we've ever been taught or told. And so I'm here to inspire, empower, and encourage it in whatever way I'm able. And so any more of the comments here? And so they're just saying that, remember that anything that you go through in every moment, and just remember, just be gentle with yourselves. Anything that you're going through that seems painful or challenging, it's your greatest strength. Because anything you have to work through, it's going to be your challenge to get to that next experience. And why every point in the Vesica Pisces and every point in the infinity helps us learn. And sometimes we go back and say, wow, I could have handled that better. And so you say, okay, source, give me another opportunity where I can have my heart opened again, and I can speak from this level of purity and authenticity, because I want to practice it. I really do. I want my mastery in compassion. I want my mastery in being empathetic for someone and just listening. I want to have my mastery in holding space. I want to have my mastery in learning financial responsibility. I want to have my mastery in inspiring creative experiences for children. Whatever it is your mastery is for each person, it adds to the collective. Because remember, no person on this planet does not come with a soul blueprint that does not include something for the collective. You wouldn't be a part of a collective if you didn't. So at some point, at some level, you are here to help the collective through healing of your own experiences. Daniel's book. Thank you, Daniel. So the dawn of a new age is upon you. And so how may you allow the release of old stories and creating of new ones, new vibrational stories? Because we each get to choose. What is my story now? Who am I? And that's what your daily self-care is all about. It's about clearing what was, doing some dream journaling, and then setting the intention, body, mind, heart, spirit, and soul. How do I want to align with source? How do I want to allow my life to be more vibrationally in alignment with my highest and my best? I want to prepare for first contact. Okay, well, what does that mean? Well, it means I got to get rid of judgment. It means I can't be so quick to judge someone when you know, I've got to be open and allowing and honoring and accepting of all beings, of all light patterns and all frequencies and all color skin. You know, we will be meeting beings that will have green and have blue in their skin and have very color eyes that don't exist on our planet. You know, so if we're creating judgments within our own families, how are we going to be okay with, you know, people that have, you know, completely black eyes? And what are our judgments on that? You know, many of the horror stories and many of all the misrepresented and misunderstood, you know, genre of entertainment have been, you know, wrongfully predicting what our celestial family and our cosmic family is all about, and how we have so many misunderstood stories about color, and they're just so limiting and fear-based. So we have got to work through those stories and be okay working through it, own it. So yeah, I was told a story when I was like 4, and it has nothing to do with who I am. So I get to release that story. I remember one time when I was, oh gosh, it must have been about 8 or 9. And we were driving back from my grandparents. And I remember this one story. As we were driving by somewhere that was on the side of the street. and a story started to ensue in the vehicle. And it was such a heated debate. And that one story just stuck with me forever. And when I hear certain vibrations that were included in that story, it just kind of triggers me, because there was a part, and as I was sitting there as a kid looking, perplexed, and you end up just taking those vibrations on as stories. And you're just like, okay, well, are we told when we're children that we don't have to take those stories on? Do we tell our children that that's my stuff, not yours? You don't have to take it on. Own it. Hey, mommy's having a rough day. This is my stuff. Do not take my stuff on. This is my shit. You're not taking my shit on. This is my shit. I got to work through it on my own. So I'm going to go for a run. You got to work it out. And you journal it, and you own the story, and you own the emotion, and you own the vibration of it. And you say, yeah, because I'm becoming whole. I don't want to be half. I don't want to be 3/4. Oh, I want to be whole. It's like a whole orange. You want the whole orange. You don't want just one piece. You want the whole orange. So I want to be whole. And yeah, you got to go through all the seeds. You got to go through the pulp. You got to go through all of it. And it's you. We can put it in any way we want. You're whole. So just own the stories and suss them out and have it be okay. It's all okay. Our parents did the best they could with what they were told and what they had. So just forgive it all. Sometimes it's not that easy. It's really not that easy. You got to go through it every day for a week, and just keep forgiving, because some of the stories are like, dang, it's coming up again. Just keep forgiving it. Keep forgiving it and keep forgiving it until it's absolutely forgiven. Because you want to be whole. You really do. You want to go into that next phase absolutely whole, and you want to claim it and be able to speak about it. Say, yeah, that was a damn ass hard experience. I get to own it. And then you encapsulate it as a part of your beautiful story, because it becomes one of those stairs that you have to climb. You got to climb. It's Jacob's ladder. You got to climb it. Nobody gets to the top. Nobody. You got to go the steps. Every slice, every seed, every pulp. You want it. It might not seem like it in the moment when you're on your knees and you're buckled in just pain. But you're healing it, because you're healing that pain that parent didn't know what to do with, and they just projected it on you. Or that ex, or that boyfriend or girlfriend or friend or teacher or whatever it was that you had in your socio system that just triggered the insecurity of who you are is perfect. You're perfect. You always have been. But you're here for those illusory experiences that have been like catching up in the system of all that we are, until it's just called forward enough with enough grace and with enough compassion to say that those fears are illusory. Those stories are all illusory. They're not real. You're perfect. And other people were in their imperfections and in their lack of self, that they just had to bring it forward. And now it's on you to clear. That's okay. You're doing them a favor, because they're your mother or your brother in another lifetime. They're your sister and your cousin and your uncle in another lifetime. They're you in another body on another planet. It's all you. So be okay. You're tough enough. You got this. And if you're feeling weak, as far as you just can't go that extra stretch, what we call as weakness, that is your vulnerability. It's not weakness. That is your vulnerability to say, you know what, I'm going to allow myself to feel what I need to feel. And it's really strong and brave, which is what they said to me. Because we've never really talked about this, because it's taken some of the words that we have in our old paradigms are used in contexts that make us feel and trigger. And so oftentimes this is why we bring them up, because they're not really that way at all. We get to choose the words and the vibrations and the stories that they come within, because everything is a vibrational story. You get to choose how it feels for you, and suss out how you choose to be a new character in your story. Bravery and benevolence, when you choose what you choose because you just know it is right. You get to choose because you just know, through the benevolence of who you are, through the heart of who you are. That's brave. To be vulnerable, to open yourself up, to take on somebody else's clearing, to take on somebody else's wounds, to clear it out. Do you know how many ancestors you're clearing that limited belief of fear? That's brave. And it's not weak at all. That is your vulnerable experience to build that strength and that power of you as a master. So own that. Your vulnerability is your greatest strength. That's how you know you're walking authentically. That's truth. And that's a vibration. You can feel it and you can sense it a mile away. Can't hide that. So vulnerability is not weakness. Never has been. And what light workers have been, you know, taken for a ride sometimes, because we're so kind and we just keep giving and we keep believing and we keep, you know, trusting and believing and trusting and believing, and we give a lot and we end up still seeing the best in people, and we still end up getting ourselves into situations where trusting people that, you know, just know how to work the magic of words, you know, and smoke and mirrors. But when you own that as a vulnerability, I walk with great light, and I won't harm and I won't hurt. And that's okay for me. And all of those times where all of those experiences happened, it allowed me to gain tougher skin, if you will. It allowed me to sense out my highest intuitive knowing of how to understand and negotiate and maneuver around certain energies. Because one thing that they're showing me is that with energies, as a master, you can negotiate. You can negotiate and move around. It's all about energy. And masters need to know that. Sometimes you got to go through some really tough experiences that break your heart again and again and again. Because you do, you just want to believe the best in everyone. And you do, there is that God best. They just don't know it yet because they're still cycling in stories of fear and lack and choosing to behave through stories of less than. And that's okay. At some point, they'll have to suss it out. It's like that return mail. It's never going to go anywhere. It's always going to be that return mail that keeps piling up until you suss it out, you know. But that vulnerability is your greatest strength. So own it and be a part of it and be okay with that story. It's beautiful. It's rich. It's where all that mastery is grown and earned. You get to earn that self-empowerment. You get to earn that wisdom. And that's how you alchemize. That's how you become self-aware. And that's how you become self-confident with who you are as spirit. In thy guidance, I am that I am. In my name, I am that I am. I own that. I've earned that. Every step of the way, every letter, every dot, everything in between that, I own it. And Source knows that. Source knows I'm in between it all. I'm not going to miss a step. I don't want to miss a step. Source knows I'm in there. That's the only one I have to atone with. Source knows the work I put in. Source knows. And Source will be there, equal measure, right with you, offering you and gifting you and helping you and healing you. Source will never leave you broken. It's us that gives up on us. But you don't have to. Own it. Stand up and say, I need to reach out. I need to get help. You've got a community of outreach. There's so many great outreach programs now. You've got lots of online help. You've always got help and assistance with so many people that post positive inspirations and post every day for your love and for your care and for your knowing that we're always here vibrationally. You might not have anybody in the room, but just know that our vibrational sacred tribe is always there offering light and bathing you in the sacred light of the ancestors and the ascended angels and the masters. So just know that and honor it. And call in your teams. Just say, I would love a bathing of just pure unconditional love. Remind me of the vibration of love. And we wanted to do a beautiful little song activation before we close today. And this song activation is about the bravery in who you are as a soul, just to be vulnerable and to be sensitive and to be empowering of who you are as light. Because all of our systems will require it to be compassionate, to be sensitive, to be soft, and to be empathic. Yeah. Empathic and compassionate. And so just allow those softer energies to be who we are, because it allows the children to be who they are too. It allows them to be okay. You know, there's you know, more and more conversations and experiences being had about highly sensitive children and how they move about their life, and how many of us were always higher sensitive kids, but back in those days that nothing like that was known. But we're all here to help each other, and it doesn't matter what it's called, and it doesn't matter what terms we give them. Just try not to give anything terms, and just have everybody be uniquely different, and know that all genetics and fields will offer you how they need to be healed, because that's the uniqueness and that's the power of the multidimensional fields. Those of us that can read fields through quantitative healing and through psychic healing and intuitive healing, we can see what's in the fields that require help and immediacy. And so just know that they don't necessarily have to go to a traditional doctor, if you will, to feel into the deeper meaning of what's going on vibrationally and physically. Our potentiation of healing, quantum healing, will be a modality of all. It will be a modality of Western, Eastern, all of the traditions that we've carried, and it will be something new and a higher vibration, because we are multidimensional allness. We're not just in tiny little boxes that are only one thing. We're far grander. And so just allow the amalgamation of our allness to come forward with joy and with excitement to be new. And so just open your divine sacred hearts and give yourself permission. I give myself permission to receive whatever codes are coming to me today. And through breath, your breath is your intention. Thank you, Holy Source Creator. Thank you, the Ascended Masters and the angels, the councils of light. Thank you, councils of light, for working with us in Gaia, because our soul's Trinity is always held with the Trinity of Gaia. Thank you, Spirit. And I choose to release any energies and any blocks and anything that's in my fields and my bodies that are not divine and sacred, that need to be transmuted through my permission of it. I choose to transmute any energies that are holding me back, that are holding me in suppression and depression. Please release now. I call in the highest vibration of love and light because I choose to, I choose to, I choose to. And I ground to Gaia because I love Gaia and I'm one with Gaia, and I know that I'm here to create collective joy and collective oneness and collective light. And it's okay for me to feel into who I am in an infinite number of ways. It's okay for me to be strong and brave and go against the grain, if you will, and to break out of conformity. It's okay for me to create new experiences and break out of routine. It's okay for me to speak in a new way. It's okay for me to act and behave in a new way that is in alignment with Spirit. Because we are healing all timelines, we are healing all aspects of ourselves, and it requires that we behave and reach out and step out and reach beyond and reach higher in different new ways. Thank you, Spirit. Our multidimensional bodies are listening, our cells are listening, our hearts are listening. And we're calling in all of our beautiful collective beings and their higher selves and their souls that are also connected with us. Beautiful. Thank you, sacred tribes. Thank you, Gaia. Thank you, Gaia, that is also connecting with the hearts and the souls of those in India and all those that are suffering, that don't think that they have anybody, but they do, because we are a collective one heart. And our hearts are now opening for the collective bravery that each person goes through for their own unique soul's path and journey. Thank you, Spirit. With your intentions of peace and activation and wellness and bravery and enhanced exploration, enhanced adventure, enhanced becoming who you're meant to become, enhanced in moving through. It's okay for you to be exactly where you are. It's okay for you to experience exactly what you're experiencing. It's okay for you to let go of judgment. It's okay for you to let go of less than and lack. It's okay. It's okay for you to have the variety of experience that you are meant to have with Source. It's okay for you to be up one day and down the next. It's okay for you to be back and forth and up and down. And it's okay for you to know that you have the power to center yourself through breath and through intention and through love and through light. And we pray for all those that are needing that prayer of love and oneness, connectedness, and to have the bravery within your heart to know that you are one with Spirit, that you are one with Spirit, that you are one with Spirit, and Spirit is always with you, never apart and never away from you. Always with you, always with you, always with you, in the love and the gratitude of all that you are, Spirit. We love you so much, we love you so much, we love you so much. Andromeda and Council of Light. Thank you, Andromeda and Council. Thank you, Andromeda and Council. And they were saying that through each and every one of us being uniquely and genuine and sharing of our stories and sharing of our own unique trials and tribulations, it allows another to also feel the acceptance and the allowance to be themselves completely and authentically and with genuine offering. And so that's how we change. That's how we shift. by becoming it and being it first, to shift the inner perspective of who we are as genuine and authentic, and shifting what we know to be spiritual bravery and spiritual courageousness, just to be the authentic emotional story of who we are. And then realign in that higher vibration so that we are in control and a manifestation and direction and focus of our highest creative excitement for what we want to manifest in a conscious and awake state. And so we love you so very much. We thank you, Spirit. We thank you, Spirit. For those of you that would like to donate, our links are below. Thank you for those that are purchasing the healing glyphs. We're so happy. And I'm going to get some out by Sunday. Those of you that have purchased that have not yet received them, you will receive them by Sunday. And also we have our Saturday World Weekly Ascension class. So those of you who would like to join, donate through the PayPal link below, and I'll send you out the link to the class by 11:30 a.m. And personal healing sessions are also on the link below, or you can just email me and I'll send you the class offering. And I think that's about it. Thank you so much, dear lighted ones, and we love you and we honor you and we rainbow hug you and we rainbow tickle. Thank you. Bye, everyone. Bye.